What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So recently I've been working on a build, and for that build I needed a vertical mount. Now I was going to pick up another one of these. This is the Phanteks vertical mount that I've used in the past. We did a video on it and I'll link that at the top. But the case that I was going to fit it into didn't actually allow us to remove the back panels as you need to for these brackets, because it would have made the back too weak. So I took a look online and to see what other alternatives there are out there, and there are some around that kind of price range. This is one of them that I picked up. This is the EZDIY-FAB Vertical Mount, and it's not a bad mount altogether. So the EZDIY-FAB mount is actually slightly different to the Phanteks one in design. Now, instead of being able to fit flush into the back of the case, what it actually does is it sits inside the case, so you don't need to cut those vent holes out at the back. It does that with a simple bracket system, and although it's not bad inside the case, it does actually lose a bit of distance for your GPU. Now that depends on how far you adjust the bracket, because it does adjust back and forward. But if we open up the box, we'll have a look at what's actually in there. Now this one in particular is a model with a RGB strip at the bottom to provide a little bit of light underneath your graphics card, and it also shines up towards the fan system. Now they do multiple models of these. This is a black one with the RGB lighting, but they do a white version, or they do a black and a white version without the RGB. And they also do a model where you get a rotating bracket, which allows you to kind of vertically mount but also angle it backwards. So that's pretty good. Now they all cost roughly about the same price, which is about £35, and you can pick them up from either Amazon or eBay, and they're not really that bad. The construction is slightly different to the Phanteks. You do have to build them, and they give you everything in the box to do it. If we have a look at the extra accessories box that comes with it, you get a number of brackets, including a rear piece, which you screw onto the end like that, and a adjustable bracket that actually goes into the case and goes into the normal screw holes that you would do for your PCIe slots. And it can actually adjust back and forward. So it goes onto this bracket like that, and then it can adjust back and forward. So you can get a little bit of different depth in there. So we'll put this one together, and we'll show you what it looks like in the system, and how you can actually adjust it not only forward and backward, but you can also adjust it forwards and backwards inside the case. So you can get closer to the glass or further away. I have tried this one on both methods. And in some cases it does actually come a little bit close to the glass, so you're not going to get much airflow to your graphics card, but it totally depends on the case that you've got and what you're willing to accept as a bracket. Also in the bag you do get these extra little brackets which you can put together. It shows you on the instructions, and you can actually use it as an anti-sag device, or you can actually mount it to the back of this bracket, so you can actually levitate it up and down as well. So there's a lot of adjustment on this. A lot of places that you can put it, but let's put it together and let's see how it would actually look inside a case like this. So using the screws that they provide, all you've got to do is simply pop the bracket on the back, all the two plates, pop the screws through like this, and it takes 3 screws to put this one on, and screw it down. I'm only going to put 2 screws in this for the demo, but you usually put 3, and on the tests that I've done on it, it's actually pretty strong. There's no flex really in it at all, and once you put a graphics card in and actually mount that down, it's pretty strong all the way through. So once that rear bracket's on, you've actually got now your L shape. You've also got your RGB cabling. This is ARGB, so it will hook into an ARGB system, but we'll tuck that down there for now. And it does use, the standard ARGB connections, which is a good sign. Once you've got it this way around, you have to decide whether you want this bracket that puts it to the machine, either on the back or the front. Now in a case, this will look different depending on the case that you've got. It will either mount it quite far forward like that, so you're at the front of the case. Now in this case there's quite a lot of space, so there's a good ½ inch to 1 inch gap between it and the glass, so that's perfect. Or you can actually mount it further back so that you're more aligned with the centre of the case. Now unfortunately I've tried this in the case that I'm going to be putting it into this position, but the PCI Express extension cable is too long and it actually pushes the card away from the motherboard. It is actually quite a bit longer than the Fantex one if we look, but I think that's because they're trying to weigh up how many different places you can actually fit these into systems anyway. So they give you the extra length. It doesn't work in my instance, so I'm going to have to bring this closer to the glass on my project, but generally it should work perfectly fine. Now to install this bracket, and we'll install it so it goes more towards the front of the glass. It's a very simple setup again. We just put the bracket onto it, depending on which side you want to put it on, and simply screw it down. Now once it's all together, we can simply insert it into the case and line it up to the back panel like that. So that's exactly where our graphics card's going to sit into this case. We'll just pop a couple of thumb screws in. They do give you a couple of thumb screws which you can use to either mount the graphics card or this plating system into the case. I don't think it matters which way you do it round. It depends which one you want to remove more often. If you want to remove any of them at all. Now with a system like this, I'm vertically mounting with the Fantex into this system because I use this one for testing graphics cards, so I need to be able to quickly remove the cards in and out. And if we grab a quick graphics card, our trusty GTX 510 off the shelf, we can see that it fits straight into the system. Like so. So once you put the screws in the top here, it's going to pretty much secure that down. Now there is a little bit of movement on this bracket when it's in because of it only really holding on a little bit at the front. So they do give you these sponge pads which you can mount or stick, the sticky back plastic. You can stick these underneath the bracket and it actually stops so much friction on the case, and they sit quite well. It doesn't damage your case then because you're sitting on fibre. So if we take this bracket back out again, we can show you the adjustment that you've got to go forwards and backwards. So that's with the graphics cards closer to the glass, and obviously on this case it's not too bad. Now if we just undo these screws at the back and reinsert the graphics card in, as you can see now you can actually move and pivot on the actual bracket itself. Now that's a really good feature because if you need a little bit of extra space at the front for your graphics card, if you've got an exceptionally long graphics card or you've got an AOO in the front just like this system does, you can actually gain a little bit more space to be able to do that. It's probably the depth of a power plug. So if your graphics card is touching the front of the case and you need that space for the power plug like this one because it's on the back and not on the top, you do actually have that movement there. So I hope you like this demonstration of this bracket. It's going to be perfect for the system that I'm building into because I don't have the ability to remove the back panels and can't use the Fantex one. But if you've got one of these, let me know in the comments what you think about it. What about the quality of it? It's not bad from what I've looked at. The PCI Express, apart from its length, works very well. And so does the RGB. It really lights up quite well. So let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see this built into a system, because we're going to be doing a video on that soon. We're going to be demonstrating a bit of a themed build that I've put together for the lab. And make sure you give this video a like if you like this information.